Welcome to Biz Planner HQ, where scattered spreadsheets, sticky notes, and 40 open browser tabs go to die. If you're ready to stop drowning in 15 different apps and finally run your business like it's actually organized, you're in the right place. From step-by-step systems and behind-the-scenes builds to real transformation stories and practical templates, we break it all down so you can level up your business without losing your mind. From step-by-step systems and behind-the-scenes builds to real transformation stories and practical templates, we break it all down so you can build a business that doesn't run you into the ground. Subscribe now and take control of your content, your clients, and your chaos. It's not just about productivity, it's about building a business that actually runs itself. Today I will be guiding you through step-by-step how I built my entire business in one Notion template, and exactly how I turned that system into Business and Content HQ. You've been there. You've probably lived it more times than you'd like to admit. 14 browser tabs open, 3 different note apps, a Google Sheet that hasn't been updated since March, a sticky note on your monitor that just says, "Call him back," and you genuinely cannot remember who him is anymore. It's one of the most exhausting feelings a business owner can have. You didn't start this business because you love admin. You started it because you had a skill, a vision, a thing you were good at, and wanted to build a life around. But somewhere along the way, your actual work became a smaller and smaller slice of your day, buried under content ideas scattered across your notes app, client details living in your inbox, invoices you're tracking in your head, and a to-do list that resets every single Sunday because you never actually finish it. You have the talent, the drive, the offer, but the system, or the total lack of one, is quietly bleeding you dry. But what if the chaos isn't actually a personality flaw? What if the real problem was never you? And it was always the fact that your business was being run out of 12 disconnected tools that were never designed to talk to each other. Thousands of business owners just like you have hit this exact wall. And the ones who broke through it didn't get more disciplined. They got one system. Today, I'm going to show you the exact system I built, piece by piece, the one that eventually became Business and Content HQ. We're going to tear down the myth that you need 12 apps to run one business. We'll break down the exact structure, the specific pages, and the often overlooked setup that let me run my entire content and client business from a single Notion workspace. So forget the app hopping, your real operating system starts now. 1. The chaos wall, why scattered tools are quietly killing your business. Before we tear this wall down, we have to understand how it got built in the first place. Why does it feel so hard to just get organized? Look, I know it feels personal, like a discipline problem, but it's not. It's about one thing, friction. Every time you have to remember where something lives, is that client's info in my email, my phone, or that one sticky note, you're paying a tax. Not a money tax, a mental one, and that tax compounds every single day you're in business. Your brain is not built to be a filing cabinet. It's built to create, to sell, to connect, to solve problems. When you force it to also be the thing that remembers which content idea you had on a Tuesday, which client hasn't paid their invoice, and which task is actually due today versus which one just feels urgent, you are asking your brain to do a job it was never designed for. Psychologists call this cognitive load, and for entrepreneurs, an overloaded brain isn't just tired, it's slower to create, slower to sell, and way more likely to drop something important. For a solo business owner or a small team, this becomes a massive problem because every dropped ball looks like a personal failure. You don't have an assistant catching your mistakes. You don't have a project manager pinging you about deadlines. You are the assistant, the project manager, the content creator, and the CEO, all stacked into one exhausted human, trying to remember 15 passwords to 15 apps that each do one tiny slice of the job. This creates a vicious cycle. You start subscribing to more tools to fix the disorganization. A task app here, a CRM there, a separate content calendar, a separate invoicing tool. And now you're not just mentally scattered, you're financially scattered too, paying for 6 subscriptions that don't sync with each other. This pushes business owners into what I call productivity theater. You feel busy, you feel like you're doing something about the chaos, but you're just adding more places for things to get lost. You feel stuck, thinking your only options are staying disorganized forever or hiring an expensive ops person you can't yet afford. This is the wall. It's built from scattered tools, mental overload, and subscription fatigue. But every wall has a door, and I'm about to show you exactly where the hinges are. 2. The pivot, shifting from app hopping to one command center. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. 12 disconnected apps were never going to work for you long term. Trying to organize your business by adding yet another app is like trying to put out a fire with more matches. So we stop bouncing between 6 tabs to find one piece of information. We stop treating being scattered as just part of the entrepreneur package. This is the pivot. Here's the fundamental shift in your thinking. Your goal is not to become a naturally more organized person overnight. Your goal is to make organization automatic by building it into one single system. You do this by changing where information lives, not by trying to remember more of it. You need to stop scattering your business across a dozen apps and start building one home base that holds all of it. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a complete change in strategy. This new strategy is built on 2 pillars that we're going to break down completely. Pillar 1, building the command center. This is all about consolidating every moving part of your business, your content, your clients, your cash flow, your calendar into one connected workspace. So nothing lives in isolation anymore. We're talking about a content system that shows you exactly what to post and when, no matter how burnt out your brain feels that day. We're talking about a client pipeline that tells you at a glance who's paid, who hasn't, and who's about to fall through the cracks. And we're talking about building a system that holds your whole business, not just a to-do list. This is the work you do on your business to make it undeniable. Pillar 2, designing it so you'll actually use it. This is about knowing that the fanciest system in the world is worthless if you abandon it after 11 days. The world of productivity tools is so much bigger than a single to-do app. There's a whole way of designing dashboards, databases, and views specifically so that opening your workspace feels like relief instead of another chore. This is about your system meeting you where you actually are, not where a productivity guru thinks you should be. When you combine these 2 pillars, one connected command center and a design built for real humans who get tired, you change the game. You're no longer duct taping your business together every Monday morning. You're running it from a system that was actually built to hold it. This is how you go from scattered and overwhelmed to running a business that runs itself. Let's start building your command center. 3. Building your command center. The 4 pillars of business and content, HQ. This is where we go on the offensive. This is all about the real, tangible pieces you need inside your workspace so it can actually hold your entire business, not just your grocery list. We're going to build the 4 pillars that make up business and content HQ. A. The content engine, your idea to published pipeline. Most people treat content planning like a sticky note problem. They jot an idea down, lose the sticky note, and forget the idea existed. This is a huge mistake. For you, your content system isn't just a calendar, it's your creative memory. It's the place where every half-formed idea gets caught before it disappears, where you can see your whole month at a glance, and where "what do I post today" is never a panic-inducing question again. So what does a real content engine look like? It has 3 parts you have to nail. First, the idea bank. This isn't just a list, it's a catch-all database where every stray thought gets logged the second it happens. In the shower, on a walk, mid-scroll through someone else's post. It needs one tag for the platform, one tag for the content pillar, and a simple status so you know if it's raw, in progress, or ready to go. It should catch ideas faster than your brain can lose them. Second, the content calendar. This is where you prove to yourself you actually have a plan. Don't just wing it week to week. See your entire month laid out, color-coded by platform, so you can spot the gaps before they turn into a scramble. Use real dates, real themes, and a repeatable rhythm so you understand what's coming instead of guessing. This tells you you're not just posting randomly, you've built an actual strategy. Third, and most important, the repurposing tracker. This is the heart of the whole system. You need a simple way to see which pieces of content can be sliced, reshaped, and reused across platforms instead of starting from zero every single time. This includes tracking your long-form pieces, your short-form cuts, and the absolute king of content ROI, the repurposing checklist. Creators who repurpose well get more mileage out of every idea than almost anything else. Don't just make content once and let it die. Base your repurposing on what actually performed and build from there. For example, this 1 podcast episode becomes 3 short clips, 1 newsletter, and 5 carousel slides. That level of detail is what actually saves you hours every week. B. Clients are king, proving you never drop a lead again. There's a saying, a full inbox is not a full pipeline. You can have 100 unread DMs and 0 actual clients booked. Business owners get this eventually, usually the hard way. You need to see that your business has a real, visible pipeline that shows exactly where every lead, client, and project actually stands. For a business owner buried in messages, having one clean client view is the single most calming piece of your entire system. How do you build it? With one client hub. You need a single database that holds every lead from first contact to final invoice, minimum. It should show a clear stage for each person. New lead, discovery call booked, proposal sent, active client, completed. So nothing sits in limbo. If your leads are a mess spread across Instagram DMs, email, and text messages, consolidate them now. Log every single new contact into one hub. This is non-negotiable. Use simple linked views to see your pipeline by stage, so you can instantly answer, who do I need to follow up with today? Specifically, you need a view for active clients and a view for prospects still in conversation. This shows you at a glance that you're organized and on top of every relationship, instead of hoping you remember to circle back. What if your pipeline isn't full yet? Work on your outreach rhythm before you build out fancier automations. Focus on logging every single lead the moment they reach out. Set a simple follow-up reminder inside the same hub. On the other side, track which of your offers actually convert so you know where to focus your energy. Every little bit helps build a stronger, calmer business. C. The financial dashboard. Knowing your numbers without the dread. Remember, running a business is all about reducing uncertainty. One of the best ways to reduce your own financial stress is to actually look at the number instead of avoiding it. You do that with a simple, visible income and expense tracker. Your income tracker is a running log of every payment coming in, the client, the amount, the date, and whether it's been invoiced. If you're behind on invoicing, this becomes the single page that fixes it because it shows you at a glance exactly who still owes you money. Pledging to check this weekly can feel scary if you've been avoiding your numbers, but it shows you're finally in control instead of guessing. An expense tracker works the same way. When you log every recurring subscription and one-off cost in one place, you stop the slow bleed of forgotten charges. If you're spending $400 a month across 6 apps you don't even remember signing up for, an organized tracker with a clear monthly total is way more powerful than a vague feeling that money feels tight. A clean financial dashboard shows you're serious and financially aware, which changes how confidently you can price your own offers. D. Building your business's operating rhythm. Finally, you need to start building the long game. A weekly and monthly rhythm that keeps this whole system alive, completely separate from relying on motivation. This won't fix a chaotic week overnight, but it's the critical habit that makes future organization automatic. A strong operating rhythm eventually lets you run your business without constantly rebuilding your system from scratch. First, officially set your weekly reset. If you haven't, block 30 minutes every Friday or Sunday. It's free and takes almost no time once it's a habit. Use that block to clear your idea bank, update your client hub, and glance at your financial dashboard. Next, get a monthly review page. Even if it's just 5 bullet points, use it to note your top performing content, your new clients, and your total income. Fill it out on the same day every month, without fail. Then, start linking your systems together so information doesn't have to be retyped. These are often called relations in Notion, where a client in your client hub is automatically linked to their invoices in your financial dashboard. Databases like these are known for eliminating duplicate data entry. Building these connections once is one of the fastest ways to make your whole workspace feel effortless. By taking these steps, building a real content engine, proving your pipeline, tracking your numbers, and creating a repeatable rhythm, you completely change how your business feels to run. You're no longer scattered across a dozen tabs. You're a business owner with one visible system. Now let's look inside the actual template. 4. Inside the template, the specific systems that changed everything. This is the part most business owners never get to see clearly. They download one free template, use it for a week, and when it doesn't stick, they assume all systems are pointless. But a well-built workspace is so much more than a pretty cover image. The key is knowing what's actually inside it, how the pieces connect, and what makes it different from a plain checklist. Let's open up the specific pages. A. The hidden gem, the command center dashboard. When people hear Notion template, they usually picture one long, overwhelming page of nested toggles. But that's not what a real command center looks like. There's a specific structure that is a total game changer for business owners. A single home dashboard that links out to everything else. Here's the part most people miss. The dashboard itself doesn't hold all your data. Instead, it acts like a control panel, pulling small previews from your content calendar, your client hub, and your financial dashboard onto one page. You open Notion, and instead of hunting through pages, you see your week at a glance immediately. Why is this so useful? Because your brain gets one clear entry point instead of 12. The dashboard doesn't try to hold every detail. Its job is to point you toward what actually matters today, and let you click into whichever piece needs your attention. Because of that, opening your workspace stops feeling like opening a filing cabinet and starts feeling like glancing at a cockpit. While it doesn't do the deep work for you, it always tells you exactly where to look next. This dashboard structure can be set up in an afternoon with a light enough footprint that it never feels heavy to maintain. B. The mission-driven system, databases that talk to each other. Beyond the dashboard, there's a whole layer of connected databases that exist to stop you from typing the same information twice. A great example is the linked relation between your client hub and your financial dashboard. When a client is marked active, their related invoices automatically show up linked on their profile. This means you never have to ask, "Wait, did they pay me yet?" and go digging through email again. Their typical setup takes about 15 minutes once you understand the relation property, and it works for any size business. What really makes a connected system different is that it gives you more than just a list. It gives you a living map of your business. You see your whole client relationship in one place, not scattered across 3 apps. Finding this kind of connected structure and setting it up properly can be an incredible relief the first time you actually see it work. C. The new frontier, templates inside templates. In the last few years, a new layer of Notion power has become common, template buttons inside your databases. These let you click one button and instantly generate a pre-filled page, a new content brief, a new client onboarding checklist, a new invoice, without starting from a blank page every time. Their big advantage is speed and consistency. But, and this is a big but, setting them up wrong can leave you with a dozen half-finished templates that just add clutter. For a business owner with limited time, getting this piece right the first time is worth the extra 10 minutes of setup. It's critical to understand the different types. Content briefs, a single template button that pre-fills your idea bank with the same structure every time. Hook, platform, format, status. Repayments in time saved happen almost immediately because you stop rebuilding the same fields over and over. Client onboarding checklists, a template button on your client hub that instantly generates a fresh onboarding page the moment a lead becomes a client. It cares more about consistency than creativity, which is exactly what onboarding needs. Invoice trackers. As we mentioned, if you need to log a payment, this button-based approach can be one of the fastest ways to log it correctly every time. Why? The template already has the fields built in. If you skip a field, the tracker just shows a blank, making it obvious something's missing. Views and filters. Views and filters are like translators. They let the exact same database show up differently, depending on what you need to see in that moment. By filtering instead of duplicating your data, you can sometimes see your whole business from 5 different angles without creating 5 different pages. While there is a small learning curve, they're often more powerful than people expect once they're set up, and they let you build a workspace that adapts to whatever kind of week you're having. By understanding this layered structure, you can see that one Notion page means very little on its own. Your job is to match the right structure, dashboards, relations, template buttons, and filtered views to the actual shape of your business. Stop rebuilding scattered pages every week. Focus on the connections that are already doing the work for you. 5. The red flags. How to avoid wasting time and money on the wrong system. Now that you know what a real system looks like, we need to have a serious talk about the traps in the productivity space. Because you might feel desperate for organization, you're a prime target for overcomplicated templates and expensive coaching packages that promise to fix everything. Some of these use flashy, overwhelming designs to trap you in a system you'll abandon within a week. Knowing the warning signs isn't just helpful, it's essential for your sanity and your wallet. Here are the critical red flags to watch for. The 500-page mega template trap. This is one of the biggest red flags of all. No real workspace needs 200 nested pages to run a small business. A template that overwhelming is almost always built to look impressive in a screenshot, not to actually get used. They're preying on your fear of not being organized enough. Extreme complexity for its own sake. A poorly designed system will bury simple tasks under 5 layers of toggles. It'll require a 45-minute tutorial video just to log one invoice. A good system should feel obvious within the first 10 minutes, not require a manual to operate. Lack of flexibility. If a template can't be adjusted to fit your specific offers or your specific content platforms, that's a problem. It must be able to bend around your actual business, including your niche, your pricing structure, and your content mix. Rigid templates often hide their limitations behind pretty covers to hide how inflexible they really are. If they can't adapt to your business, walk away. Upfront complexity before any payoff. A system should never require you to build 10 interconnected databases before you see a single benefit. Real value should show up almost immediately, a cleaner calendar, a visible pipeline, not after weeks of setup with nothing to show for it. No support or updates. One of the side benefits of a well-maintained template is that it improves over time as Notion adds new features. Poorly supported templates often get abandoned by their creators the moment they're sold. This means even after you buy it, you get no ongoing improvements, keeping you stuck with the same limitations forever. The best way to protect yourself is simple: trust your gut. If a system feels more complicated than your actual business, it is. Try before you buy whenever you can. Look for a preview, a walkthrough, or a demo. Ask if there's support if you get stuck. A legitimate creator will have clear answers and an easy setup process. A shaky one will get vague or just pile on more bonuses to distract you. Your time is too valuable to waste on a bloated system that could bury you in more clutter than you started with. You now have the complete playbook. You know why scattered tools were never going to work, how to build a command center that actually holds your business, what real connected systems look like inside, and how to spot the overcomplicated traps. You have a real roadmap to build, or find, the system your business actually deserves. If this guide was valuable to you, if it opened your eyes to a better way of running your business, the best way to support this channel is to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We put out content just like this every single week to help business owners like you get their time back. I also know this is a lot to take in. To make it easier, I've put the entire system I use, every dashboard, every database, every relation, into one ready-to-use workspace, Business and Content HQ. You can get instant access with the link in the description. Duplicate it, customize it to your business, and stop rebuilding your systems from scratch every single week. And finally, if your business is unique and you feel you need some one-on-one guidance setting it up, there's also a link in the description where you can book a private walkthrough with my team. We can help you customize the system and get it running for your exact office. Now let me tell you how I actually built this system for myself, long before it ever became Business and Content HQ. The message from my own business partner was so short, so brutally simple, just a few words. Did you ever send that invoice from last month? I didn't even want to check. It was the fourth time that quarter someone had asked me about something I was supposed to have already handled. My business, my content, my clients, all of it living across a mess of tools that I could never quite keep straight. This business wasn't just a side hustle, it was my entire income. And with every dropped ball, I could literally feel the cracks widening. My dream had a shape, and that constant low hum of disorganization was telling me I wasn't cut out to run it, no matter how good my actual work was. I felt like a complete fraud, like everyone assumed I had it together because my content looked polished, while behind the scenes I was one missed reminder away from losing a client. But what the scattered apps, the missed messages, and those quiet moments of panic didn't know is that I'm stubborn, and I refuse to let disorganization run my business into the ground. It's a horrible feeling, right? To know you have real talent, a work ethic that won't quit, but you're constantly tripped up by your own systems. A system that's supposed to hold you up instead of trip you. For me, that breaking point looked like 14 open browser tabs at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. And in the world of running a small business, 14 open tabs isn't just a busy day, it's a giant red flag that something structural is broken. My business was a small content and coaching brand. I started it from my kitchen table with a laptop and a genuine love for helping people. And it was working. I had clients, I had engagement, I had proof that my idea was solid, but I hit a ceiling and I hit it fast. 1. The breaking point. 14 tabs open and losing my mind. So before I tell you how I turned things around, we need to have a really honest chat about what running a business on scattered tools actually feels like. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a slow leak. And over time, it drains everything. Most business software isn't built to hold an entire business, it's built to do one narrow thing. So 4 separate apps handling 4 separate slices of your day puts you squarely in the friction zone. To your own brain, that number of open tabs screams, I might forget something important. And your whole business is built on not forgetting things. It suggests a pattern of half-finished setups, abandoned trackers, maybe even a few dropped clients along the way. My chaos wasn't because I was lazy. A few months back, I tried to get organized with a system that was way too complicated, gave up on it within a week, and swore off productivity systems entirely after that. It was a frustrating lesson, but my calendar didn't care about the story. It just showed the missed deadlines. This is the ultimate catch-22 for a busy founder. You need to get organized to have the time to build a real system, but you never have the time to build the system because you're too disorganized. It's like being told you can't rest until you've cleaned the whole house, alone, with no map of where anything goes. It's maddening, and the fallout from scattered systems goes way beyond just missed messages. It can mean losing track of your own income, forgetting to post content for a week straight, or even double booking 2 clients on the same call. It feels like you're playing the game of business on the highest difficulty setting with one hand tied behind your back. I had to face it. Wallowing wasn't going to build my content calendar for me. The old way, bouncing between apps and hoping I remembered everything, was completely broken. It was time to build something from scratch. 2. The turning point, getting fed up and building my own system. There's a moment every business owner faces, a fork in the road. You can either accept the chaos the world has handed you, keep patching it with more apps, and just live with the low hum of dread. Or you can get annoyed enough to actually fix it. You can decide that you get to design the system your business actually runs on. For me, that moment came right after that 4th "did you forget" message. I was sitting at my kitchen table, that little ping of embarrassment burning in my chest. I felt that familiar sting of feeling behind. But then, something else kicked in. Just pure frustration turning into motivation. No, I wasn't letting scattered tools be the reason my business stalled out. I had poured too much of myself into this. My clients believed in me. I believed in my work. The only thing broken here was the setup. So, I decided to stop bandaging the symptoms and actually fix the root problem. That night, I didn't stop scrolling. But this time it wasn't doom scrolling, it was pure focus. I opened my laptop and went down the rabbit hole. My first search was as simple and desperate as it gets: how to organize my whole business in one place. The results were a tidal wave, an overwhelming mix of genuinely useful tools and really overhyped ones promising the only app you'll ever need. I knew immediately this space was a minefield. Overpriced software loves people like me, people who are desperate and have tried 3 other things that didn't stick. They dangle a beautiful interface but hide a shallow feature set once you actually try to use it for a real business. Some of these, like all-in-one business suites, can cost more per month than they're actually worth for a solo founder. I felt a new kind of anxiety, not the fear of staying disorganized, but the fear of sinking another month into a solution that would just become another abandoned app. I could jump out of the frying pan of scattered sticky notes right into the fire of an overpriced software subscription that would drain my bank account and still not fit my business. I couldn't just click the first ad I saw. I needed a plan. I had to become genuinely comfortable with one tool instead of shallow in 10. So, I opened a blank Notion page. I started taking notes, categorizing the different pieces of my business that needed a home. I watched tutorials, read templates, and slowly started to build a map of what my ideal workspace actually looked like. It wasn't a panicked search anymore, it was research, it was a mission. I was done being a victim of my own chaos. It was time to be the architect of my own system. 3. Discovering Notion's power, my big discovery. This part of the journey was like learning a whole new language, the language of connected systems. It turns out, when scattered apps say you need 12 different tools, there's a whole way of building your own workspace that says, no, you actually just need one, structured correctly. The key was figuring out which pieces mattered and seeing what fit my business. I learned that having an app for everything wasn't actually the goal. Some structures cared more about how information connected than how many features they had. Here's what I found. First, I ran into basic databases. These were everywhere in every tutorial. People kept building simple lists, like a to-do list or a content calendar, as a single flat database. The appeal was simplicity, quick to set up, easy to understand. The trade-off was that a flat list still meant I had to remember where everything else lived. A database, for example, only holds one type of thing. My business had 6 different types of things happening at once, so I was only solving a sixth of the problem. Then I found relations between databases. This was a totally different level. A relation isn't just a list, it's a connection. A page in one database, like a client, could link directly to a page in another database, like an invoice. In return, they show up connected automatically, without me typing anything twice. The big advantage here was that my client hub cared way more about staying accurate than my old spreadsheet ever did. Many business owners use relations to link clients with projects, with invoices, with content, all without duplicate entry. If one client had 3 invoices, all 3 showed up right there on their page. The learning curve was real though. Getting the setup exactly right took some patience. I had to learn a little bit about how roll-ups summarize numbers from linked pages, which made everything feel far more automatic. It could feel intimidating at first, but it turned into the actual backbone of the whole workspace. The aha moment, the home dashboard. This is where a light bulb really went on. A home dashboard isn't a database at all. It's a single page that pulls small previews from everything else. Here's how it works. I had about 6 different databases running my business. Content, clients, finances, tasks, goals, and a resource library. A home dashboard, built with a few simple linked views, would literally show me a small preview of each one, right on the page I opened every morning. It would pull my top 3 tasks, my most recent invoices, and my next 3 content pieces, all onto one screen. Then, I would click into whichever one actually needed my attention that day. The incredible part? My mental overload barely mattered anymore. The dashboard wasn't betting on my memory. It was betting on the structure, holding the memory for me. This felt like a total game changer. I was using one page to see my whole business at a glance. This felt less like adding another app and more like finally seeing the whole picture clearly for the first time. A perfect fit, template buttons. Since a huge reason I kept losing track of things was starting from a blank page every time I looked into template buttons. This is another feature where a single click generates a pre-filled page, secured by whatever fields I'd already decided mattered. If I needed a new client onboarding page, the button just built it, instantly, because they had that pre-filled structure. The setup requirements were way more forgiving of my forgetfulness. I found this feature specializing in exactly the repetitive tasks I dreaded, and it made starting new work feel effortless because the machine already cut the blank page friction way down. This just felt like a direct, logical way to get consistency without all the manual retyping. A beacon of hope, filtered views. Finally, I stumbled into a corner of Notion I barely knew existed. Filters and multiple views of the same database. Views like these are mission-driven. In a sense, their whole purpose is to help overwhelmed founders see only what matters right now, not everything at once. A filtered view, for example, looks beyond just a raw list. It wants to show you the whole picture sliced exactly the way you need it in that moment. They offer clarity, and more importantly, they offer calm. It wasn't just a technical feature, it felt like a relief, Setting these up for my business felt completely different, like I was being shown only what I needed to see, not buried under a number of unrelated tasks. The setups are often smaller than people expect, usually just a few clicks. But that was exactly what I needed. I went from feeling like I had 0 good options to having 5 real connected pieces I could combine. The overwhelm was gone, replaced by a sense of control. The question wasn't, can I ever get organized, anymore? It was, which piece do I build first? 4. Designing my command center, my game plan. Knowing the pieces was one thing, actually building it was another. With a business scattered across 6 apps, I knew every part of my new system had to actually connect. I couldn't afford to build something half-finished again. I had one real shot at making this stick, and I was going to make it count. Step 1. Getting real about my actual workflow. First, I got brutally honest about how my week actually moved. It was tempting to build every feature I'd seen online, but I resisted. I created a detailed what my business actually needs list. It wasn't just organize everything, it was content calendar with idea bank, for planning and catching ideas before they disappear, client hub with relations to invoices, for never losing track of who paid and who didn't, financial dashboard, for finally seeing my real numbers at a glance. This showed me I had a precise, strategic plan for every piece of the workspace. It proved I wasn't just patching a leak, I was investing in a real structure. Step 2. Getting my pages in order. Even though Notion is flexible, I still needed to plan my databases before building. I gathered everything I could to map out my full business. A content database, I mapped out every platform I posted to and the fields I'd need for each piece. A client database, I listed every active client, their stage in my pipeline, and what they'd paid so far. A financial log, I pulled the last 6 months of scattered numbers from my bank app to see my real average income. A resource library, I gathered links, templates, and files I kept losing across 5 different folders. A goals page, I wrote down what I actually wanted this business to look like in a year. My old notes and feedback, I collected months of scattered client feedback and testimonials I'd never organized anywhere. Having this map ready made me look at my own business clearly for the first time. It built confidence right from the start. Step 3. Choosing my structure. With all my planning ready, I decided a layered approach was best. Building the dashboard first seemed like a no-brainer. It was the page I'd see every single morning, so getting that right mattered most. For the client side, the relation between clients and invoices was the perfect fit. The connection itself did the remembering for me, making my own forgetfulness less of an issue. But I also decided to build out a simple weekly reset checklist. I was really drawn to the idea of a repeatable rhythm that didn't rely on my memory at all. Even if it started small, building this habit just felt like a smart long-term move. So that was my 3-layer build. 1. The home dashboard for daily clarity. 2. The client invoice relation for the big pain point. 3. The weekly reset for a rhythm that stuck. I built each piece with intention. For the dashboard, I focused on what I needed to see the second I opened my laptop. For the client hub, I mapped out every stage a lead actually moves through. For the reset checklist, I kept it short enough that I'd actually finish it every week. By the way, I'm getting into the nitty-gritty here because I know how overwhelming all of this can feel. If you're in this spot right now, feeling totally buried or defeated by yet another abandoned system, do me a favor and drop a comment below. What's your single biggest hurdle? The setup, the consistency, finding a structure that actually fits your business? The community here is awesome, and I promise you're not in this alone. We can share what we've learned and cheer each other on. Don't underestimate how much it helps to know you're not the only one juggling 14 tabs. 5. The launch, seeing it work for the first time. The first real win came from the home dashboard. It happened so naturally, I almost didn't notice it. I opened my laptop on a Monday morning, and instead of the usual dread, I saw my whole week laid out in front of me. I clicked through it twice, looking for the catch. The tasks were exactly what I'd actually planned. I closed my laptop that morning without a single sticky note in sight. Something in my chest just relaxed. I just sat there for a second. It wasn't a fancy new app. It was my own business, finally organized in a way I could actually see. A weight I didn't even know I was carrying just lifted off my shoulders. I immediately opened my client hub and updated 3 stale leads I'd completely forgotten about. That one small update, made possible by finally seeing everything clearly, felt bigger than any milestone I'd hit before. A week later, the relation between clients and invoices came through in a real way. Because I'd taken the time to set it up properly, a client I'd been chasing for a payment update showed the answer right there on their page, without me digging through email. The clarity I felt was the total opposite of the anxious scrolling I used to do. It was focused on the answer being right there, not buried in my past mistakes. When I opened my dashboard that morning and saw 3 overdue invoices flagged clearly for the first time, I actually let out a small laugh of relief in my kitchen. It was just pure relief and validation. This was the big one. This was the piece that changed everything. But the most meaningful moment came a week after that. I got a message from a client I hadn't spoken to in a month. She told me she'd noticed how quickly I'd been responding, how much more together everything felt. She didn't mention my content or my pricing. She started by asking what had changed behind the scenes. And then she said something that genuinely surprised me. "Whatever you're doing differently," she said, "it's working. I feel like you actually have this handled now." I've approved myself for the first time in months. I remember thinking. I was quietly proud. It wasn't the compliment itself. It was the feeling of finally deserving it. After months of feeling like I was faking competence, hearing that from someone who'd actually noticed was everything. It was validation. It was relief. It was momentum. In just 2 weeks, I'd gone from 14 open tabs to running my entire week from one dashboard. I had clarity on my clients, my content, and my numbers. The chaos wasn't winning anymore. My business was roaring back to focus. 6. The transformation, running my whole business from one tab. Getting the system built was the peak of the struggle, but it was just the start of the real story. The change that followed was incredible, and it happened almost overnight. First thing I did was open my content calendar every single Monday. The day I actually filled out an entire month in advance felt like Christmas morning. It was this huge calming symbol of my win. I spent the next week just refining the categories and adjusting the views. The impact was immediate. A week of content planning that used to take me 4 hours of scattered scrambling, now I could do it in 40 minutes and with way more clarity. This didn't just make me faster, it completely changed the math of my week. My output exploded. I could suddenly plan 3, 4, even 5 times as much content without burning out. The client hub was just as huge. My missed follow-ups dropped to almost 0. That change went straight to my bottom line. It also meant I had this clear map of every relationship right in my workspace. When a new lead came in, I could walk through the exact same onboarding template every time. It was an amazing consistency tool. And with the weekly reset habit, I finally built breathing room into my own schedule. This, maybe more than anything, changed my life. For the first time, I wasn't constantly catching up. Having a rhythm for reviewing my content, clients, and finances freed me up to focus on the actual work, talking to clients, and actually growing the business instead of just surviving in it. Those chaotic, scattered days turned into manageable, focused ones. I actually started having mental space again. My business wasn't just surviving anymore, it was thriving. Within a few months, my client retention had noticeably improved. I was taking on bigger projects with more confidence. Work I could have only dreamed of managing before. I was more organized, less stressed, and more in love with my work than ever. The system wasn't just about tidiness, it was about breathing room, it was about capacity, it was about confidence. It was the structure my business had been missing for far too long. 7. Lessons learned and how I'm building for the future. This whole journey taught me more than any course or coach ever could. Here are the lessons I carry with me every day. Lesson 1. Your chaos is a systems problem, not a character flaw. This is the biggest one. Feeling disorganized doesn't mean you're not cut out for this, or that you lack discipline. Apps might make it feel like a personal failing, but the real world of running a business is bigger than that. Your business has its own strengths, your skill, your clients, your voice. If you got value from this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Biz Planner HQ. Drop a comment if you have questions and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, it's not just about productivity, it's about building a business that actually runs itself. See you in the next video.